We got to not have another one of these financial meltdowns with the Wall Street gamblers. You have to help the small banks loan money. They're for that. And then we need to implement this Wall Street reform. Here's what it does. Saves everybody $5 billion in credit card fees. That's nice. But the real thing it does is to monitor all these real big banks. And when they start taking too much risk, there's a system now that automatically requires them to put more cash aside so they can't collapse the economy and force you into a bailout. And wait a minute. All these Tea Party guys are all there bashing the bailout, aren't they? You go, oh, no bailouts for us. It's bait and switch. Look at the facts. The bill Kendrick and Corinne and Alan have already voted for, that bill that they have already voted for, prevents future big collapses and says if they get around us, there will be no bailout. No bailout is legal the next time the executives and their shareholders have to pay. The Republicans, by contrast, have promised to repeal this. They have made future bailouts and future failures more likely. So if you don't want any more bailouts, you really don't have a choice. You got to vote for Kendrick Meek and these members of Congress. That is the fact. Now, how you know if we finance the jobs and we've got them that there are Americans who can fill them? There are more than 3 million jobs that have been vacant more than a month. Did you know that? I mean, people are trying to hire people. Part of it is, sadly, more than 10 million of our families are living in homes worth less than the mortgages. So they can't move like they used to, or they'll destroy their credit. But the biggest problem is we didn't keep up in the last 8 years with the skills training people needed. So the Democrats have supported a budget that will provide more training funds to the state. And the state can give them to the employer to train people, or to a certified union training program, or to a community college, whatever is best for the workers. And what I have urged our Democrats to do is just to send every state a list every month of every job in Florida, let's say, that's been open a month or more, and let them direct the money just for that job training. You get rid of those 3 million jobs in a month, and then the unemployment rate would go down 2 points, and we'd be living in a different country, emotionally as well as economically. Now, the Republican budget calls for immediate, across-the-board cut in all education and training of 25%. One side will hire the 3 million people, the other will let them languish on the unemployment line. You want to put those people back to work? You don't have a choice. You got to vote for Kendrick Meek and these Democratic members of Congress. Now, here's the game changer. And I want every student here, if you don't remember anything else I say, remember this. This is the one thing that can dramatically expand the voter base in Florida if you will put this on YouTube and Facebook. Make sure it's announced on the college radio stations if you have one. If you have to put up little flyers in the student union or the library or the bookstore, do this. Now listen to me. Here's the most important thing nobody knows. We dropped from 1st to 9th in the percentage of our adults with college degrees in this last decade. For the first time in my lifetime, we dropped to 12th of all the nations in the world in the percentage of young adults with college degrees. We've been first ever since the GI Bill was passed after World War II. Most jobs don't require a college degree, but most of them are created by people who have college degrees. And that's what built the great middle class in America. That's what got us going. And we have allowed that lead to vanish. Now, the really scary thing is we are still first in the world in the percentage of our young people who go to college. They just don't finish. Why? Because the cost keeps going up more than inflation, and the Pell Grants and the tax credits and the student loan program have not kept up. Here is what you need to know. If you don't remember anything else, every student here, remember this. Kendrick and Corinne and Alan voted for the most sweeping reform of the college financing system since the GI Bill. Wait a minute, wait. Now listen, it's really important. Listen to what's in it. This bill says that we are going to lower the cost of college loans and make it easier for you to pay back so no one will ever have to drop out of college again. Why? Because we're going to set aside a loan reserve fund at the Department of Education, the money directly to UCF, give it to them for the college loans, and save $60 billion over a decade in unnecessary fees to banks. That's what we're going to do. Then UCF can make available a student loan to you at a lower cost. When I did this on an experimental basis as president, students like you saved $1,300 repaying every $10,000 they borrowed. That's real money. That's what you're going to save, okay? But here's what's more important. The second thing is more important. Every one of you from now on, if you get a federal student loan, will have the absolute legal right to pay it back for up to 20 years as a small fixed percentage of your income. Never more than 10% and less if you need it. Now, what does this mean? Think about it. It means we're going back to number one, because nobody ever has to drop out of college again because of the fear that you can't repay your loan, because of the fear of taking out a new loan. Ever again. It will never happen. This is revolutionary. Now, the sad thing is we're about to have an election and not 5% of the college students in America knew that. And even fewer know that Mr. Rubio and the Republicans have promised to repeal this bill and make it more expensive to go to college and harder to pay your loan off and add $60 billion to the debt. Why would they do that? Because the interest groups want their money back. So, I'm just telling you, if every student at UCF knew this, don't you think most of those who voted in 2008 would think it was worth voting in 2010 to protect the most revolutionary advances in student loan in history? I am begging those of you who are here, put this on Facebook, put this on YouTube, put this on the campus radio station if you have one. If you have to put up a notice, everybody needs to know, number one, what's in the bill, number two, that the Republicans have promised to repeal it. We can get thousands of more people to vote in every congressional district in Florida, and then all the polls will be wrong because their profile of who votes will be wrong. It is up to you. You can do it for free. The future of your country and the future financing of higher education and whether America rises in the 21st century or falls may be riding on what you do. Don't you let anybody sit out this election. Any university student that doesn't vote to go back to number one in the world in the percentage of people with college degrees is playing games with his or her future. Go out and tell people that, and we're going to have a great victory.